In the previous video, I was speaking about my mistake. As a first version of the application, I decided completely rely to the broadcast receiver without using foreground services. But as it turned out, it was not enough, and I explained in the previous video technically why and what was the solution. If you didn't see it, foreground service was a solution. But now I want to focus what I did wrong in order to predict something like that in the future, and what I did right, so I could eventually find this issue before application went to the production. So both of us, you and you, the one who observing, who watching this video, we can make some useful conclusions. What was my mistake? I trusted AI. Yeah. Even if you try AI, developing with AI, not wipe coding, and I explained somewhere what is the difference. Somehow, because my brain, like human brain, is by default lazy one, somehow you can always slip back to the wipe coding from the AI developing. And what wipe coding, so-called wipe coding, I did? I've made shallow investigation. Even though I asked smart models in my ChatGPT and Gemini, I used 3.5 Pro and or either a 3.1 Pro, 3.1 Pro version in the Gemini, and I used also in GPT the newest 5.5 version, and with a high thinking process, and I said go through the sources. What I didn't do, I didn't check the sources, and sometimes even smart models of AI, they can stick to some wrong conclusion, and no matter how you ask later in the same context of the communication with your AI agent, it will always give you a wrong answer. So I did this mistake. I used AI, which was not a mistake, but I didn't check the sources. This was a mistake. At the most, AI should have links to the official documentation and at least to the Stack Overflow, because Stack Overflow with rating algorithm and business logic to some degree is also much more reliable than AI itself, because AI basically it uses Stack Overflow. At least it used it to learn itself. Anyway, don't do this, or do it and do it carefully, so later you can have less mistakes. But also I also did something right, correct? Because before going to the next steps, I found the issue and I fixed it now, and it's much easier to fix it while the code is not too big. So what did what was right, what was correct, is my decision to not go to the next feature before. Like I didn't go to the adding sounds. I still don't have a vibration in the application. I didn't make presentation layer cleaner. Everything I wanted to do so quickly. Before that, I wanted to make sure that I can manually test all scenarios plus add end-to-end test on top. And when I started dealing with end-to-end tests, and when I started also testing it manually with ADB command, where I can increase battery level and decrease it, and see how it reacts when the screen is locked, when the screen is not locked, when the application is closed, when the application is killed after reboot. All these cases, I found this mistake. I found and I could fix it sooner than later. That's why second conclusion for myself while developing is verify functionality and feature, especially if it's core feature like listening to the broadcast receiver and opening basic screen, like this feature, for example, before going to the next steps. It can save you time later. Imagine how it could go wrong. I could release it, I could share it with users, I could already be happy and plan some other videos and other projects, but somewhere in the end some of the user tells me, hey, it doesn't work, and it doesn't work on the newer devices, and my end-to-end test didn't cover it and I didn't notice it. So I had to go back and I had to fix it, etc. You can imagine how more complicated it would be. That's why it was conclusion number 2. Okay, so just to summarize, even if you sleep to vibe coding, when you make investigation for the MVP version of the core functionality, try to do the correct system design as fast as possible, because this is incorrect version, this is correct version now. Investigate, use UI, but check the sources. And another conclusion is, before going to the next step, verify each feature end to end, and later do the final regression when you verify all of that. Hello everyone, let's make the code review together. I now push these 3 commits, so you should be able to see them remotely on the repository I shared in the description. Let's review what I've done. Some of the changes I've mentioned theoretically in the previous video to keep it. First, it works. I enable it. Okay, I will not go with this now, but it works. But Node end-to-end test probably does not work correctly still, though functionality itself works. How it works in runtime. You probably know from my previous videos that I've made a mistake. This was a wrong way to rely on the broadcast receiver solely. We must use foreground service anyway, because if application is closed, the fact that we subscribed for the broadcast receiver doesn't work. Plus, right before I was opening alarm screen in the wrong way. Basically, it was enough for this case, for that stage, but now it's not enough, because I wanted to work same way as alarm clock works on Android system, with full screen intent. That is why we have these commits. We have full screen intent commit, we have foreground battery monitoring commit, and we have simply updating my next steps. You can review it and you can understand how it works in a different way. I will not explain again what is FSI. I will start speaking about from this commit. I believe I already covered in the previous video this FSI full screen intent and what it does. In short, it's just a correct way to show critical information when application is closed, when device is locked. So battery level opens alarm screen on top of the lock screen, not below it, which is not permitted. If you want to deal in a correct way both when screen is locked and unlocked, foreground and background, you should use full screen intent. And let's focus on runtime and how service works. This system design scheme is not correct, while this one is much more accurate. It already has foreground service. Let's start from the scheme. Enable battery alarm is clicked. It starts foreground service, which subscribe to the battery low receiver, which opens later battery alarm. Plus we have complete boot broadcast receiver in order to listen to the reboot of the device, so to start foreground service again, because it will not be started by itself. But how it's all clues together in the code? What are critical logical nodes in runtime? This is critical part. Kind of implicit, not obvious, but it is important. When application starts, right, we have this onCreate in application class, and it starts alarm setting coordinator. What it does, it only listens to the data store, to our persistent storage, to the variable that is changed when we click disable or enable on the emulator. And it is critical because when application is opened, it listens to the alarm enabled, and if it's enabled, it starts service. Or if it's disabled, it stops the service. As soon here we start foreground service, and foreground service register to the broadcast receiver. That's why the magic works. That is how it works in runtime. And what we have now in the view model is all about this screen. We have also here subscription for very same flag from the repository, and when it changed, just in order to represent this button in the correct way, because UI reacts on this change. What is important, we have single local source of truth, which is data store and alarm enabled flow in our repository. And this is source of truth on which rely both main screen with its button and service, when to start and to stop the service. Good. And also another risk was covered with this action boot completed. This receiver is started, this block is triggered automatically when the operation system is rebooted, when emulator or your phone is rebooted. And again, it starts alarm setting coordinator. This one relies again, listens to this alarm enabled field and reacts accordingly, whether show or does not start foreground service or does not start it. Perfect. Now we can say that it works. But in the next video, I will show what I fixed in end-to-end tests and why they didn't work before. See you now. we'll still have things to cover in the future. So subscribe if you are interested, or if you want this application eventually to get it, to be a first tester and to use it for your purposes. For now, that's it.